Really?
Really? I am just a figment of your imagination.
Hello, everybody.
Imagination.
That intro is so fucking good.
Yeah.
And we are working on another one.
So fucking good.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. There's a loop here.
Dog.
Oh, that's you're right.
Hello, everybody.
It's not me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know how, dog, but it seems to be. Unless I don't know.
All right.
You may have a stream playing in the background or something like that.
Unless I don't know.
All right. Well,
you
let's
have,
get rolling. So, yeah, it is dog.
Yeah.
Let's get going.
You must have a window open.
We have a very special man to make fun of today, Russell Brand.
Always.
We got the right video this week. So without further ado, first we need to play the disclaimer because we're going to have explanations for the bollocks that's coming out of his mouth. And YouTube needs to know that some of it we are debunked.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers, commentators, experts, and/or hosts. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the channel's policy or the views held by this channel or broadcaster. The broadcaster or its channel cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
There we go. And without further ado, let's start. Hopefully Dog will come back in.
UFO whistleblowers. Marco Rubio saying that senators have heard about crash retrieval. Objects under the sea that are apparently from extraterrestrial realms. What is going on? Do you still think it's a distraction?
Okay. What the fuck did he just say?
Okay, so what they're talking about is not like extraterrestrial spaceships. What they're talking about is they're finding meteorites and other celestial things from space that are down at the bottom of the ocean. So they're extraterrestrial, but they're just rocks.
Well, that's what he's going to go on about later on in the video, where he's like, and the scientist from Harvard has talked about in the ship diary. Yeah, that's what they were talking about there. And of course, those balloons that China sent over North America and the retrieval of that, not necessarily aliens.
That senators are briefed about crash retrieval operations. This while interstellar vehicles have been tracked under the sea.
Under the sea.
I know a lot of you think that David Grush could be an anomaly, or he could be a former employee with an axe to grind, but...
Or he could be a fucking nutter.
Just like this fucking dude.
Yeah.
See, Russell Brand decided, I'm not relevant anymore. So how do you become relevant? You basically find a bunch of losers and you pander to them, and that's what he's doing. Yep.
Those of us that have been UFO enthusiasts for a long time see this as an apocal moment.
Yes, ray gun or Saigon or a real. Sorry.
Yep. Let's say hi to the chat.
Sure.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. There's also this thing called chat.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Let's pop that out.
Well, actually, it's an AI.
Yeah.
What?
Part of the quickening, the great revelations, the great changes. The rubric is falling apart. The paradigm is collapsing.
We will get into what he's talking about later, because remember, he's a letter after Peanutter.
Yes. Dog should be in the background again. So.
Oh.
Okay.
How's that? Is that any better?
That's totally way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't hear it.
I don't know what's going on. I have to shut
It's okay.
down the laptop and reboot it.
It's sometimes StreamYard will do that itself as well, and so that's usually what you have to do is just shut down and restart. So we're golden.
Yeah.
And you
The
didn't miss
aliens are
very
coming,
much.
or is it just false flag distractions to keep our mind off of Hunter Biden?
Oh, fucking hell.
Part of the paradigm is collapsing.
You know what I
aliens are
find
coming.
so
Sorry
or
about
what I find funny? Like, everybody's like, all the normal smart people are like, yes, Trump got found guilty. Okay. And now they're making a party because Hunter Biden got found guilty. Well, this proves two things. Or it proves at least that the system is not rigged against rich people. That it's not rigged by the Biden family. So, okay. Oh, and wait, and what's the difference? Oh, one is the candidate itself that got convicted, and the other is a family member of.
Somebody who has nothing to do with politics.
That has no power.
Yeah, that
Is
has
it
nothing to do with
just-
politics. But let's crack on.
false flag distractions to keep our mind off of Hunter Biden. Joe Biden won't debate. The mainstream
Won't debate what?
Yes, he
Huh?
will. And Trump is shaking in his boots. This is basically about 4 months old.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right, Commander. And Trump is trying his hardest to get out of it.
media is censoring us everywhere. The EU are going to shut down big tech.
They will respect the law.
And Alf is on his way.
And this guy is cringe. Why are you abusing Alf by using him, sir?
Late than never.
Just hours ago.
Okay, now we're getting into Rubio.
We finally got Rubio on camera, and what he said, it is big news. Senator Rubio says Grush is not the only high-level government official to come forward with these kinds of claims. There are others, he says.
Here's some of them. I know some of this is from last
So I
week.
wanted to mention that these bases, if you look at them, let's go to, this is where all these
This is one of them.
illegal operations have happened. I'm saying illegal because we can prove that this information.
Yeah, you can't prove.
You can't prove dick
Let me
shit.
go
these
back
projects-
here.
Yeah. What you talking about, Willis?
This is a bunch. This is a bunch of cunts who wanted attention from this cunt here. The only thing that he can produce that's not generated by him. I mean, look at this shit. There's some videos. So everything on the videos, right? It definitely has a meaning. We're gonna go over that real quick. And we're gonna lower that because that sucks.
Yeah, and I think this one is the Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, look
Swan.
at the thing. You can almost see it flapping.
Wasn't it Keith?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, it was
I
a
knew
goose.
I knew it was foul. Haha. Oh.
So anyway,
Because-
we went over this. IOR is the heading of the camera relative to the plane, 27 degrees in the left hand. Basically, west position is the camera relative to the nose of the plane, altitude, and all that fun stuff.
And the reason it looks so weird with it being in that infrared or whatever it is, because the waves look really weird comparatively to the
Well,
other
it's
thing.
not-
And so that's one of the things is our brains and eyes are kind of confuzzling us too to make it seem like it's this huge thing when it's just, I believe they were just far away and then it was calm seas that
Well-
day or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I can base down the scene here. It's you see RNG, that's range, that's 3.8 miles.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 3.8 miles away. The altitude is 25,000 feet. You have an angular distance that we know of between you know, the width of the screen, you have the angular
Yeah.
distance, you can trig everything out.
Yeah,
We went over
exactly.
that last week.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. Grush, who you saw on our air, is not the only one to come forward.
Our air. This is our air.
Jesus.
Which news organization was that? Okay, I think that's one of those hard right-wing propaganda networks.
Oh, no
Who
doubt.
you saw on our air is not the only one to come forward.
Our air. This is our air. High-level military personnel have been coming forward for ages. The phrase and the band name, Foo Fighters, is a euphemistic term that US fighter pilots used to use for odd shit they saw flying around.
No, it wasn't American. It was Japanese. You don't even know where the you have the, you could have Googled that in 5 seconds. It was not. Never mind. Unless I'm wrong.
It was
but I'm pretty
American.
sure it was American.
I believe it was American, and it was a name for unidentified stuff in the European and Pacific theater.
How
Okay,
determined are you to believe this is a false flag? It's because you've been lied to so much, right? You think, nah, if they're telling me, it can't be true. Life is not binary. Decisions are not binary like that. We have to go, wait a minute, these people are trying to control us, regulate us, use information to keep us distracted the whole time. And yet, it seems like we are experiencing genuine, legitimate.
Okay, what he's doing is he's actually training people to hold two contradictory positions at the same time. You notice like he's saying false flag operation, but it's all true. And he's babbling on incoherently.
Well, he's doing exactly what Tim Pool does. He plays both the sides.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what I believe is, we shouldn't have child labor because then the kids get hurt and then blah, blah. But you know what? Then they get to learn a skill at least, and you're like, God damn it, you asshole. You literally just played both sides of fences.
The learning a skill thing just reminds me of something. I don't know, maybe something historical with people that kind of look slightly different than. Never mind.
Well, not in.
I was referring to slavery.
Yes, no, I know, and
that was Ron DeSantis and the asshole something Waters from Fox, who was even doing apologetics for concentration camps.
Yeah, they learned a skill. If they would have gotten out of there, they could have. Anyways, Drusilla, yes, he has gone crazier since the beep accusations.
Oh shit! I need to hit the button
Kinds
better.
of claims. There are others, he said.
Name Foo Fighters is a euphemistic term that US fighter pilots used to use for odd shit they saw flying around. How determined are you to believe this is a false flag? It's because you've been lied to so much, right? You think, nah, if they're telling me, it can't be true. Life is not binary. Decisions are not binary like that. We have to go, wait a minute, these people are trying to control us, regulate us, use information to keep us distracted the whole time. And yet, it seems like we are experiencing genuine, legitimate, extra-dimensional phenomena. Let me know in the comments.
According to Rubio, others have come forward in secret to Congress.
People say there are people
All right, here's Rubio.
that have
He's
come
a
forward
cunt.
to share information with our committee over the last couple of years.
Do you think the plant on the inside's thinking, I want to be out there with my mate on the outside?
I would imagine some of them are potentially some of the same people that perhaps he's referring to. I want to be very protective of these people. A lot of these people came to us even before these protections were in the law for whistleblowers to come forward. Some are public figures, and we've heard from them in the past. Others, have not shared publicly. And so we're trying to gather as much of that information as we can. And the reason why I'm being cautious.
No one's come to you in the past, Rubio. People come out with this bullshit and they get proven wrong instantly, yet these people still keep going on saying, oh, these people came out and they told us all this. Yeah, and they got debunked, but you still fucking don't believe the debunking. Backing out.
Well, I mean, they got this guy here. They got this guy here claiming to be surrounded by absolute experts who generate shit like this.
Yeah.
Purge.
absolute experts who generate shit like this.
That's high quality AI. That high quality AI.
Jesus Christ, that's so fucking funny. All of that's explainable. The reason why you make a test dummies that have like computer components inside of it is like the impact sensors and shit. So just because your dumbass didn't recognize they were test dummies, that's a test dummy. You put a certain type of equipment in it, like impact sensors or other things like that. So, I mean, just because your dumbass didn't realize it was a fucking dummy doesn't mean it's real.
Open the door because
Well,
he saw this.
actually, they did, like in the 1960s, have I remember at the UFO museum, they were actually showed mannequins that they used for pressure suit and
tests,
you know, for sending unmanned things and then testing pressure suits while they were doing it. And, but I mean, this is ridiculous here.
Yeah.
And I know this is a little bit flat.
Coast Guard, and this is his incoming letter to me.
Well,
I'm
anyway,
trying to
back
be
to-
evasive, but I am trying to be protective of these people. Some of these people still work in the government, and frankly, a lot of them are very fearful of their jobs, fearful of their clearances, fearful of their career.
So you basically have a clearance where you have to deal with information that exists in reality. And you're basically lying to senators because you want attention, like this asshole.
Sure, yeah.
Then you're worried that you're going to lose your job because you're out there making shit up for attention.
Career, and some, frankly, are fearful of harm coming to them.
What, Jeremy Corbell?
Okay. Todd, let me find a render that I did. Let's just go over here. No, I can't. I want to pull that up, but how do you present that?
Go to window, maybe.
In this space says is that the government don't want these whistleblowers come forward. But of course, what
Okay.
many of you believe is we wouldn't be given this information if it weren't beneficial. But perhaps both of those.
What I was going to do is I was going to try to present a background and say that it was some top secret government facility that I was at. Oh my goodness, why didn't I get arrested and thrown in prison? Well, because I just made shit up. But I assure you, if I start talking about some of the models that were made in the cryo tunnel for Saab and NASA Langley, yeah, if I start drawing that, I will go to jail.
Yeah.
But if I just make shit
Probably
up,
even if
they're
it
not-
slightly resembles it.
Well, as long as it doesn't slightly resemble it and I'm just making shit up, then I don't go to jail. But if I reveal anything that I've ever worked on that I could even think was classified, I will go to jail and I know it. So
yeah.
just
That's-
tons of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Similar.
So this shite here, reason
A
why
lot
the
of shite.
people who revealed this shit aren't in jail is because it's shit.
Can be true. Perhaps it's being revealed now because they can't prevent it because there are legitimate, genuine whistleblowers coming forward, but their intention is to use this as a kind of berserker strategy. Oh my God, Trump's being indicted. Hunter Biden's not paying his taxes. Zuckerberg and Elon are having a fight. The Titanic's coming back up. There are aliens now. Vote Democrat.
So that can.
Where the hell did that come from?
He's such a cock. He really is.
And all this shit going on, right, that overwhelms us. If it's a distraction. Yeah, they distract people, but like, if you want to focus people's attention, don't talk about shit like aliens. Oh, come on, guys. Here we want to focus your attention on this shit, but really, our attention spans are so small nowadays, so they just bombard us with shit. But that has nothing to do with anything he was rambling on
people
about.
who have firsthand knowledge, who say they have actually seen these kinds of things. Do you find many of them credible?
Well, I don't find them either not credible or credible because we have no basis. Understand some of these claims are things that are beyond sort of the realm of what any of us has ever dealt with.
That ought to be a fucking clue, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Plant up in that corner and the one in the house are really reaching out for each other now.
What I think we owe them is just a mature, understand, listening, and trying to put all these pieces together and just sort of intake the information without any prejudgment or jumping to any conclusions in one direction or another.
So it's pretty groundbreaking. There's a US senator sort of saying, I neither believe it or don't believe it. I'm just saying that it appears that there are crash retrieval. I think it's very difficult to coordinate conspiracies at that scale. Even with events of the last couple of years, I feel like it's more a convergence of interest, tight control of information, broad agenda to profit and regulate. These things can happen almost organically. I think it'd be very difficult to get these people to cooperate. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if I'm way off.
I will.
Okay. So at first he's saying it's a conspiracy, but it's very hard to organize a conspiracy like that.
Yeah, I actually agree with him. It takes a lot of fucking time to create something that fucking stupid.
I recently just found out there is a mathematical equation that you can use on a conspiracy theory to find out how long it would take for it to be exposed.
Oh, right.
And also, too, right? It depends on how important the information is. You can't keep the sex life of presidents secret, but if something's important like missile codes, that almost never gets out.
Yeah.
I find most of these people at some point, or maybe even currently, have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, like, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification, these are serious people, have to come forward and make something up?
They just left or they're starved for attention. That's incentive to make shit up. And remember, if I want to make shit up about, there was this flying saucer at NASA Langley and the Greys came out, right? And we were in contact with the Greys, and the Greys were helping me in the machine shop below the cryo tunnel. No, really, they were. I'm not getting in trouble because everyone knows the Greys were not there. But I had clearances.
So there you go. It seems like there are credible, high-level witnesses. A senator willing to put his head above the parapet. I know a lot of you don't particularly respect high-profile political public figures, and I appreciate that. But it does seem that the narrative...
Hey, Tiny!
Hi, Tiny.
Tiny Captain.
...is shifting. This comes after Senator Josh Hawley said a recent UFO whistleblowers report is pretty close to information he received in a briefing. So we're now...
Oh my goodness. Oh shit.
Of the last couple of years, I feel like it's more a convergence. Put his head above the parapet. I know a lot of you don't particularly respect high-profile political public figures, and I appreciate that. But it does seem that the narrative is shifting. This comes after Senator Josh Hawley said a recent UFO whistleblowers report is pretty close to information he received in a briefing. So we're now able to cross-reference different testimonies.
Okay, so if you got a UFO nutters who follows this douchebag, and then whatever information this douchebag bilges out on the internet, and this particular stream here where I clipped this from, it had hundreds of thousands of views.
Jesus.
So you got hundreds of thousands of people who have seen the same shite And they're all vying for the attention of senators.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it seems it is all about. It's just for this. The senator thing. I honestly do not get any of it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I did volunteer for a Senate campaign. And for like 4 years, I actually had Mark Warner's actual cell phone number that was functioning. And you know, some of the fun things that senators have to deal with? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry and crackpot wants to rub elbows with them and feel and influence them. And then you have the lobbyists. So you see the MAGA crowd and how fucked they are in the head, and just consider the nutters that vie for this guy's attention.
That there were many of these unidentified and unaccounted for aerial platforms out there.
Another lawmaker
unidentified aerial
raising concerns related to whistleblower.
That was weird the way you said that.
How do they stay
and
up there?
This guy,
yeah,
I have no clue. They need fuel, and this guy Grush is affiliated with this guy Greer, and I think L.A. Marzulli is also into the aliens too.
David Grush's allegation that the government maintains a secret UFO retrieval program and has close to a dozen aircraft in its.
Oh, you know what's fun about these shapes, right? If you have a camera out of focus and you have a small point of very bright light, whatever shape the aperture is will be the shape that the dot is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thunderfoot actually did a video where he used a cookie cutter and put tinfoil over a camera lens. And he made Christmas tree shaped lens things like this. So the lights in the distance when it was out of focus were shaped like Christmas trees.
Possession not believed to be made by human hands. Senator Josh Hawley says he can't verify whether the UAP program exists, but says some of the claims Grush is making track with what Hawley's heard in briefings.
Again, crackpots of the world unite, and they all cross-pollinate each other with bullshit from bullshit artists like this. And then you get consistency. And yeah, I work for special forces, and I was in the special forces. Stolen valor here. Commander 401 has never served in active combat or military, never been enlisted, and I will never make that claim. Everything that I have involves machining and related stuff for military contractors. I will not make the claim like all the bozos who come forth and say, well, I was in Delta Force and here's kind of what I saw.
This is extraordinary. This is a media phenomena as well. Because independent online media will cover stories more broadly, will speak to credible witnesses, the mainstream media now has to follow suit. So I think you discredit these stories. It wouldn't be on the mainstream media if it was true. But I think the mainstream media has to emulate independent media. You will now see someone like Michael Schellenberger, who is an anti-establishment figure, cropping up somewhere like Fox News because the agenda is being led by independent media. Because ultimately, news media requires outliers and genuine investigators to bring news stories. Its model is being broken down. They can't keep simply piping through information that they've been briefed by senior political figures and PR people.
So what he's going on what he's going on about is exactly what the propagandists are doing. You have all these little independent media things. He's like, Tucker, if Tucker says something incredibly stupid, now CNN has to cover it. But this guy's a propagandist. He knows how it is. And then in a few minutes, he's going to say the exact opposite. But believe all the shite anyway, please.
Yes, it used to be. You're right, MJ. He just followed the money is what happened. But let's crack on with the idiocracy.
Because the media space is fracturing because of independent media sites like this and Breaking Points and Jimmy Dore, now Tucker and obviously the great man. Now the space is changing. So they're literally having to do stories like this in order to be relevant and in order to some degree to control it. I don't think that means you can discredit and dismiss the information.
Hypocrisy much, Russell
Say
Brown?
again?
Pot cattle
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
need to be relevant.
Saying that the government knows more about this than they had previously let on, that doesn't really surprise me, because it looks to me like the government has been tracking these UAPs for a long time now and has not been saying much about it.
Also,
and to give you an idea, Josh Hawley is an election denier. I think he went to Russia during the NRA trip, where there was an organization, right, that claims the Russians want for gun rights in a country where if you're not in the military or the mob, you don't get gun. So that was a farce.
Yeah.
But I think they took him.
So, multiple people reported seeing a rotating green light above them in Middletown, Ohio on June the 21st, and no one has managed to debunk the footage almost a week later. Remember how it used to be 20 years ago when you'd read some well-thumbed, weird Eric von Daniken story, finger...
No.
Are you going to smile and laugh?
Prince of the Gods, or some out there conspiracy theorists reporting, or you'll attend a conference at Roswell. The problem was always, why aren't there more confirmed sighting? Why isn't there more footage? Why aren't high profile figures coming forward? Well, now all of those things are actually simultaneously happening. What is it that you want? A UFO to land in Times Square in the middle of the day? Well, I believe that there are diplomatic relations between the US government, Chinese government, and Russian government, where there are indeed like treaties actually that prevent that happening. Now, I know it sounds crazy, and I hope it...
Yes, it is crazy.
You're not fucking wrong there.
Does anyone I'm sorry. Does anyone remember last week's stream with the exopolitics? That's exactly what they were talking about. They made up bollocks about treaties between all the governments to share the alien technology. It was all made up.
Yeah. Doesn't make me sound outrageous, ludicrous, and ridiculous, but I've spoken to myself quite credible sources on this subject. And
no, you haven't.
And you name
Citation needed. Yes, that's what I was going to say. Citation needed.
There's no credible people on this subject at all, because it's not credible.
Well, and not just that, but once again, sometimes it's people misunderstanding what they're saying. We've talked about this before. When you work for a certain, like building a car, you don't build the whole car. You build a specific part of the car for your knowledge that is in your field, right?
The production line.
So every once in a while you'll see other parts of it, right? Or you'll talk to somebody who works in the other end of the car, and you're like, "Oh my God, there's brake lights!" Like if you didn't know.
There's quite a good example for that. Like otherwise,
I want to.
No, but like if that was with the car, like how else would they have gotten away with the fraudulent test software in cars?
Sure.
If everybody in the factory knew about it.
I think that trip that I'm remembering where the NRA did that was during Trump's first time. And there's been a lot of creepy stuff. Specifically, like I was putting out pamphlets in churches in 2016, pointing out that trying to get preachers to realize that Russia was that Patriarch Kirill had their their sheep marked for slaughter. Because I actually kept up on that stuff. But it was before the war.
I now truly do believe that even if this is being used as a distraction, I'm in no position to persuade you that that's not what's happening. It probably is. You're probably right. You've been right before. What I also believe is this stuff's true.
We had multiple viewers reach out to us after they say they spotted those rotating green lights in the sky. Now, Caden Little of Middle...
That's not real.
Town reached out and he tells us he saw the lights around 10:30 or 11 last night. And take a look at this video he sent us. You can see a ring of bright green lights.
Isn't it just a drone? Isn't it just a drone with fucking 4 green lights on it? I mean, it could be so many things, you people. And it could be, well, most likely, I don't know. But again, it could be a handful of things, not an actual alien craft.
We've all seen the drone light shows, right?
Yeah, exactly, Emily.
Yeah, it could be that. I will actually go over that footage later.
Rotating in the sky, and another video taken by Bryce Garrick also shows those lights, and then all of a sudden you can see the lights will quickly zoom off to the left.
There's like, see those lights at the bottom that are like the reflection-y lights?
Yeah.
For some reason, those ones don't spin like the ones in the sky. So
aren't those from the traffic lights or the street lights?
That's what I was going to say. Either they're from the street lights or whatever's in the sky is not spinning the way that the camera's making it look like it is, right? It may be an optical.
I think I'm going to use Blender and rotoscope and see how the motion of the lights in the sky relate to the things on the ground, because that looks like that last part might have been faked where they're like yanked away.
Screen, and then they just disappear.
Now, maybe another reason we're not seeing more of these guys is they're under the sea. Scientists are currently searching for the submerged remains of an interstellar object that crashed into the skies near Papua New Guinea in January 2014 and probably sprinkled material from another star system into the Pacific Ocean, according to an onboard diary by A.V. Lur.
Stop. Once again, what does this mean? It means it was a meteorite. It was a comet. It was some celestial thing from outer space falling into the ocean. That's why they said it probably sprinkled material from another star system into the Pacific Ocean. UFOs don't sprinkle themselves all over the place, you weirdo. That's the words that tell you that they think that it's a fucking rock or something that didn't have beings and it was being controlled by something.
Spheroids, they're going to be talking about that. And in regards to what I was saying about earlier, if MJ's still here, there was weird Russian stuff going on with the evangelicals back in 2013 when Rick Wiles called nuclear fire down on America, and there was some weird stuff with Jim Baker. So I started paying attention to a lot of that shite. And we're actually going to be covering some of that on the channel, because there's later on in the video, we're going to touch on some of the indicators of Russian bullshit.
Oh, we're going to touch on it.
The Harvard astronomer who is leading the expedition. The effort, which kicked off on June the 14th, aims to recover what is left of the otherworldly fireball using a deep-sea magnetic sled. Bloody hell.
Why would they call it a fireball if it was just a falling spaceship?
Yeah, it's just an meteorite, and the magnetic sled is to detect a chunk of iron ore rocks
This is
underneath
crazy,
the
hasn't it?
waters.
Other
Because most
worldly
likely it is made
fireballs,
out of
magnetic
those.
sleds. I remember when it used to be the Dow Jones reports are down by 5%. Ah, get this crap off. Aliens just ate the Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq is having a fight with Mark Zuckerberg on Jeff Bezos' ball bag. The team has already turned up anomalous magnetic spheroids.
Wait, where has he
steel
been for
shards,
the last
curious
50
wires.
years?
See, they're
Where,
apparently.
what do you think TMZ has been? What do you think all these other news organizations have been? They've been doing this for a gazillion years. If it bleeds, it leads. That's what we were taught in fucking when we did all our news shite. This isn't nothing new, you weirdo. You're just pretending that news used to be fucking mundane and now it isn't for some weird reason, you twat.
And Slim used to work in the news industry. He knows.
Yeah.
Let's see where we left off.
I used to do 6-minute news packets for Fox, NBC,
Magnetic
and
sled.
CBS.
Bloody hell.
So
Using a deep sea magnetic sled. Bloody hell, the news has gone crazy, hasn't it? Otherworldly fireball, magnetic sleds. I remember when it used to be the Dow Jones reports are down by 5%. Ah, get this crap off. Aliens just ate the Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq is having a fight with Mark Zuckerberg on Jeff Bezos' ball bag. The team has already turned up anomalous magnetic spherules.
Yep, that's what happens when iron melts in the air as it's being heated and coming down. Yep, they detected an asteroid, a meteorite.
I can see somebody reading curious wires incorrectly, but there's got to be a thing if they're finding, spheroids, steel shards, and heaps of volcanic ash. Because once again, why would a UFO that was filled with spacemen, why would there be heaps of volcanic ash near it? Or why would there be magnetic spherules around? It would have exploded into metal shards. And I know it says steel shards, but there's not enough. They didn't say that they pulled up bodies or that like it had an internal capsule or that it was a thing that looked like it was something that was being propelled by something.
They're basically
of
metal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's metal right now.
It's metal. And that's what they say that
Right.
most of the stuff's made out of, right? Is heavy metals is what usually falls into our atmosphere and makes it far enough through our atmosphere at whatever fucking speed, which is insane, and then makes it to the water or makes it even to land. It's a very rare occasion. So
The
it has
volcanic
to be tough.
Ash. And Loeb is optimistic that the crew will identify pieces of Interstellar Meteor 1, IM1, the mysterious half-ton object that struck Earth nearly a decade ago, which he thinks could be an artifact or a techno-signature from an alien civilization. So there you are. Further advances that there is government awareness of extraterrestrial technology, potentially diplomatic relationships.
Now, we actually claim that who is credible.
Yeah, and the thing is with the government, like,
can you go back
obviously,
to that last screen, please?
But also, obviously, like a government will always err on the side of caution. So yes, they're gonna try and be at least somewhat prepared for there being aliens that will try and attack us.
Brainless.
It's never gonna happen.
Just read what this cue card or what this card. Read where this quote came from. Scientists that are hunting for alien objects in the ocean, and they have just found something. Yeah,
it's like anything.
Loeb is optimistic that the crew will identify pieces of an interstellar meteor and a mysterious half-ton object that struck the Earth nearly a decade ago. Now, half a ton is not very big. That's 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like as I don't want to say exactly, but less than a meter cubed of steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like if a VW bug flew in from the sky and
About
landed
1,000 pounds.
Yeah, and I think the VW bugs or the old school ones were about that or something like that. Maybe 800. I don't know. But yeah, but then of course they say techno signature from an alien civilization. Yeah, you guys are wanting it to be that, but this isn't from Harvard or whatever.
So there you are. Further advances that there is government awareness of extraterrestrial technology, potentially diplomatic relationships between extraterrestrial societies and our own government, high-profile whistleblowers continuing to share information, footage of extraterrestrial craft in the air, as well as ongoing subaquatic explorations that apparently reveal that whatever the truth is not what we've...
You only showed us one example of fucking things flying in the sky. Oh, no, 2. Sorry, technically 2.
A lot of this
The
is
video stopped.
a friend of mine who's in the military said the main thing that we watch are the patent companies. If there's anything there that can be used for military use, that's all these people that just look at these new patents to see if anything can be used military. Well, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's fucking testing it. Them lights in the sky could have just been a laser or something on the clouds. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember that there are a gazillion and a half companies around the world that they are trying a new thing out, right? And so you don't know what's flying through the sky. You don't know what is falling into your backyard. You know, it could be from a company that is trying a new whatever tech out.
Yeah.
The video for some reason is not playing, but anyway, Russell Brand was basically babbling on about awakening and a reset and all that stuff.
Is it not playing?
And
try closing
for
it
some
and
strange reason, it doesn't want to play again.
If you move and edit.
Oh, there's something wrong with it. But anyway, so let me just touch on that awakening. Let me see if I can get a freeze frame of these tattoos on. Oh, it's not even letting me scroll through it. He has tattoos on his arm. And he's very new agey theosophy guy.
I fucking hate these shitty tattoos.
And during the Soviet Union, Christianity, Judaism, conventional religions were frowned on greatly by the Soviets, but they got all superstitious and stuff. You had, to give you an idea, in 2019, Shaman Gabyshev, a shaman from Yakutsk, I think, led a merry little band down the Trans-Siberian Highway to exorcise Putin. If Putin was in fact a Christian, being afraid of a shaman who was going to burn horsehair and dung to exorcise you from power wouldn't be a thing, but Putin had him arrested. Basically, he had Madame Blavatsky basically create it's weirdness. But here's a little bit of the Q stuff.
Many light beings are assisting the President Trump, both conscious.
This is the great wealth transfer
implementation of Nesara and Gesara. Many light beings are assisting.
I don't know how much I can play this.
YouTube, we do not agree with this.
Yeah, and then we have this lady here.
My children, get ready. There will be a darkness, but it will signal to you that your enemies are all coming down. This is that hour you have been waiting for. It is here, and it's now. Say the Lord, your Redeemer. Stocks will tumble and fall for many of the major corporations worldwide. Many of these companies will be plagued with one scandal after another. The corporate world is about to be shaken like never before. Bankruptcy will be a normal thing to hear from them because the transfer of wealth has started. I am ripping their wealth from them and giving it to who rightfully belongs to.
Oh my Jesus!
Okay, there we go.
Easy.
She's been because all these predictions she's been making over these months and months and months, they're all starting to come about now, and they're all getting, they're all finding that they're false. So the longer she makes these videos, the more the more not credible she.
There are some elements of what's known as the NAR and theosophy where their eschatology, their end times expectations match up perfectly, where these people think that they're going to take the pain to those that they think are heathens and whatnot. I will leave a link to a channel that can explain it better. But here's one of the most influential evangelical leaders of the 20th century.
One of the things he said,
and hey, Jinx,
is if any man comes to me
Jinx.
and does not hate his father, mother, brother, sister in his own life, he can't be a disciple. So I don't care what other qualifications you have. If you don't do that, you can't be a disciple of Christ. You want to be a follower of Christ, companion of Christ, friend of Christ, follower of Christ? If you do everything else and you can't do that, you can't be his disciple. Jesus said that. Jesus said, you have to put me before other people, and you have to put me before yourself. Hitler, that was a demand to be in the Nazi Party.
Jesus said that?
You have to put the Nazi Party and its objectives ahead of your own life.
He was in Mexico at the time.
This is not anything that we believe. We are
No.
debunking this, but this is Doug Coe. He basically founded the Washington Evangelical Establishment. Goes back to William Branham, the NAR, Manifest Sons of God, but they have religious beliefs which are very close to theosophy.
And ahead of other people. I've seen pictures of the young men in the Red Guard, 22 years old in China.
How the hell in the 1980s did he see pictures of the Red Guard?
A table laid out like a butcher table.
He's lying.
They would bring in this young man's mother and father, lay her on the table with a basket on the end. He would take an axe and cut her head off. They have to put.
I'm not going to play this anymore. It's disturbing, but he's suggesting that people need to be as radical as the Red Guard. And this is what's been running the evangelicals since the 1980s in Washington.
Yeah.
We're going to do more on that. I hope MJ is here because MJ loves the Ukraine. So yeah, MJ is here. But yeah, and there's an enormous right here. I'm gonna pull this up
towards the whole.
Let's see. Elizabeth Clare Prophet. This bitch. All right, Michael Flynn was repeating a theosophical prayer from this bitch at the Reawaken America tour.
Okay.
And Mount Shasta is very near Bethel. And that's another source of violent anti-democracy Christian stuff. And they're actually teaching ideas which are not in keeping with traditional Christianity, but are in keeping with Elizabeth Clare Prophet. So there's just beneath the surface. And I hope MJ is still here.
Yeah.
I know that was kind of impromptu. And we are not talking about all Christians.
Yeah.
We're just talking about these specific violent ones.
The extremists.
I hope that liar pants on fire thing wasn't for me.
No. It was for the people you're going over.
Yep. I want to do more of that serious stuff, but I need to make sure everyone who panels is absolutely up on everything before we do one of those.
Sure.
And probably going to go and visit some friends in Europe this July. Wink, wink.
Nice.
And definitely want to talk about some stuff with them.
Yeah.
And I have to go to work soon, so I think we're going to cut this stream a little bit short today.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep. This whole thing is interesting. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up a YouTube channel that I actually do want you to, everyone to go and watch before we stop the stream. They team out of the Branham cults, and I left a link earlier. Yeah. Does anyone have the link to that video I posted? I think it was in the general chat earlier. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Let me copy this. And
is this
come
homework?
back here.
Totally. Yeah, there's
This
going to be a
is for
test.
anyone who wants
Is this
to.
our homework, are you, Commander?
Yes.
When these people came out of the Branham cult, and they are well aware of all the toxic stuff that's going on with the most toxic evangelicals, and it's been like since the late 1940s.
Okay.
And there's connection to Nazis, connections to communists, connections to Alexander Dugin, and all that stuff with what's called the NAR. In one of my earlier videos where the Penguins go and raid the Kenneth Copeland's plane, I have audio of Robin Bullock basically prophesying lies for Vladimir Putin. So these people are all probably working together for a long time. I know that because remember C Street, right? The guy who basically started C Street was the Seven Mountains Dominion, one of the founders of Seven Mountains Dominionism, and he's got some creepy connections to Russia too. So we're gonna say goodbye, everybody, and we'll be back with a boatload of fun, and later on more series probably during the week. Have a great day. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye, people.